Hey folks, this is episode number 1 of the 2020 edition of the Bible Believers podcast. Well, I'm joined here today by a couple of old schoolers who are getting older and older every time I look at them. Yep. We've got Pastor Joe Meddy on my left, and we've got Brother Joe Horick. Should I call you Deacon? Do I have to call you Deacon Joe? No. This is Joe Horick.
I don't need special titles.
No, but you do need special music. This is Joe Horick music. This is whenever we intro you, I think we have to do that. Just
coming at you from Wyoming County.
That's it. Right. He believes in guns and guts and freedom and the Bible. Praise the Lord. So we're starting this Bible Believers podcast. We're starting it out totally fresh, different feel, around a fireplace, more kind of just a homey talking, atmosphere kind of thing. Hoping to have a lot of fun. I don't want us to take everything so seriously, except when it comes to, of course, preaching the gospel.
That's right.
It's going to be, just so people know, I will look at the camera every once in a while. I don't plan to talk to you folks. I just want you to kind of sit in and listen as we all, the three of us, talk together. And, of course, we got Miles in the background as well. He's running the sound for us and keeping controls, and every once in a while he will add his own thoughts, which may or may not bring everything to a screeching halt.
Very shallow thoughts.
See, now that is the voice of Pike right there.
So Wyoming County representing.
Yeah. Here we go. So a journey back into the podcast. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to what we're going to be doing here in the future. And we're going to be kickstarting things with a particular podcast on, Calvinism, but we'll get to that when we get to that. What can we expect from this podcast? What kind of information am I going to get here?
Bible. Much Bible. And then when you're done with that, we'll give you some more Bible.
And
you know what? We'll have some fun while we're doing it too.
Yeah,
right?
well, this is what I hope. I've got some notes here, and I don't want to get too scripted here. What I am hoping is that we are going to, the three of us and Miles, enjoy ourselves.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to. I love just having conversation, a cup of coffee, with brothers in the Lord, and just enjoying fellowship around.
And because it is Bible, it might be controversial.
That's right.
Yeah. Listen, we will be open. Deacon Joe and I may disagree on something. Pastor Joe and I may disagree on something. Miles may come in there, like I said, throw a wrench in the whole thing, disagree on. It's okay. Yeah. We do plan to have guests on the show. Right. We have the capabilities of having call-in guests. We can bring in guests into the actual studio itself. And honestly, I want to have a dialogue that isn't just, yes, I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah, right.
And I think that maybe we'll actually be able to do that with this current series as well. But just expect and listen. Here's one thing that I want everybody fully to understand. Pastor Joe, Deacon Joe, myself, Miles, we may say something you don't like.
Right.
We are Bible-believing Christians, but I do not fit the Baptist mold in a lot of ways. And I don't care to fit the Baptist mold. I want to fit the Bible mold. Amen. But I may be extremely offensive. And here's what I have to say about that.
What I say is what I say. If you don't like it, I'm sorry.
So I just wanted to throw that in. Yeah. It is what it is. I figured, just like the president, I may say something you don't like. I may say it in a way you don't like. Mm-hmm. And you may agree with it and just not like the way I say it. And I'm okay with that, and I hope that our audience is okay with that. What is our audience going to do? You are going to like these videos. That doesn't just mean you're going to enjoy them. You're going to press the button.
The like button. That's
you're
right.
going to like it. You are going to subscribe to the channel. You are going to hit the notifications tab. You are going to leave questions. You are going to leave comments. We hope that maybe you'll even, as we go into this further, that you will call in.
Yeah, that'd be great.
please suggest a topic. Ask a question. Doesn't even have to be a question. Could just talk about UFOs. Okay.
Sure. Right. Sure.
We'll talk about UFOs from Bible-believing perspectives.
Amen.
So, I mean, we'll do that. Conspiracy theories, UFOs, Bigfoot,
Yeah.
whether or not it's
The
right
Earth,
to live in the
flat
country.
Earth.
Oh, flat Earth.
We are doing that?
Yeah, we should do that. We should do
I
that.
really don't want to, but I think we might have to.
I think we
actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hot topic.
No, we got to do
Unfortunately,
that.
yeah.
We got to do that.
The whole Australia not being real thing, I got to find out if that was just a person.
I wonder
having
is it
fun with
Australia or is it Antarctica?
It's Australia.
I heard
It's a
Australia,
real thing.
but is it a real thing, or
Oh, it's
was
a
it
real
somebody
thing.
just trolling, as they say?
No, look it up. Look it up.
All right.
Because the Flat Earth Society is not really a Flat Earth Society. That's actually a parody. It is. It's not. It was made by people who are joking.
Originally. I thought it was made in the 50s by a
No.
guy that actually was.
No, that's no. It's a.
Well, that's not
it's
the
like the
podcast
Babylon
today,
Bee, right? It's a
Right,
total
it's
parody.
a satire website. You know how often do you share something from the Babylon Bee and Christians?
Mm-hmm.
Christians are the worst with this. Oh, I can't believe this is crazy. They react all angry or sad or whatever. It's satire. It's a joke.
Even when it comes to politics too.
Yeah.
You'll post something up there, and when somebody posts something, the first thing I want to do is I click on the link and see is this, and if I don't know it, is this a parody site? Like I'll look it up.
Oh, sure.
And then you'll see it's a parody site, but everyone's freaking out that something, AOC said this, or Bernie said this, or Trump said this, and
then they
it's
share
a
it
joke.
without checking. Just click,
Exactly.
share, like, share.
Yeah. And, well, I've been guilty of that myself, probably a couple times.
I
But
have to. I try to be careful.
so, what is episode number 2 of the Bible Believers podcast going to be about? Because this is just about an intro.
Right.
It's about getting the viewers ready. We are going to, by the way, we're going to release one episode a week. We are going to pre-record them and release them once a week, probably at the same time. I'm thinking Thursday evenings, though I'm not sure. I'm not settled on that. Maybe an 8 p.m. start. I don't know. We'll let you know when they're going to come up. But so you're in this introduction. If you're looking for the next episode, you're going to actually have to wait a whole week. It's almost like a television program.
Remember those?
Tune in next
But
week.
this is the reality, and audience, this, that if we go over 10 to 15 minutes, you'll stop watching after 10. The average view of any video is about 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So your attention span is not so good.
Yeah. Less and less through the years.
Right. And
Hey, I'll admit I'm that way too.
Sure.
Unless it's keeping me interested.
Right.
right.
I have a
Or
hard
sometimes you just don't have the time. I
Yeah,
got 10
sure.
minutes
Yeah,
here, and
right.
so I'll take a look at that. But so, and if we posted, like we're going to record 7 episodes tonight, including this intro, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But if I put all 7 up, you'll only watch the first couple, and then the others will just kind of drift off. But if we put them up once a week, and you know when they're coming, that's the way to do it.
Stay
right?
interested.
We'll keep your attention. So, Pastor Joe, what is our series? What are we starting? What are we delving into here?
The wonderful topic of Calvinism.
And instantly our audience just went,
Or perked up. You don't know.
yeah, it depends.
It's a hobby horse for me. So if I was
Yeah.
listening, I'd go, ooh, okay, what is
Or people out there really don't know that they actually are indoctrinated by
Oh, yeah.
Calvinism.
Yep.
So they might want to listen because it's in a lot of our churches.
And not just in the world. I was just at Tim
Christendom.
Hortons. I was just at Tim Hortons and listening to there was this song they were playing over the intercom, and it was "If it's meant to be, it will be." It's in the world too. It's
Oh, yeah.
I don't want
sure
to
it
get too
is.
far ahead of ourselves, but it's fatalism. But in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
church, it's called Calvinism.
Right. We'll get to
We'll
that.
get into that.
We had just recently. I'm going to try to have this brother on the podcast just because I don't think he and I ever agree on anything scripturally. But he's a
Yeah.
friend. He's a brother. And just recently we were at a pastor friend's church. You were there to preach, and I came along. And just out the blue, and I think you and I both stopped and just stared at each other as soon as he said it.
Really?
He said, "Here's a thing that's not spoken of enough from the pulpit.
Which it is.
Providence."
Oh, it's
And I thought, I mean, Joe and I instantly, I think it was just like, oh.
Yeah, it was
And we
kind of
just
awkward.
stared at each
We were in
other.
the front row, too, and I'm like, oh, don't make it awkward, but I can't help it. Oh, yeah, okay. You know?
Yep. Same feeling. He luckily he wasn't looking at us, right? So
like passing notes in class. I was like, oh.
That's better than what the one preacher did to you. That just no. I'm going to challenge you on that, brother. Oh,
hey,
thanks.
How do you know someone did that? Have I shared that
there.
with people? Oh,
I was there.
Were you there?
Yeah, that wasn't awkward at all.
That's awkward.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if people even understand what you're saying there. No, it was just to share that real quick. That was a time I was preaching a message, and this is what not to do when you are the host pastor of a visiting preacher. And you disagree with them. If it's something that's absolutely 100% doctrinal, okay, well, if you need to protect your church, then you close his mouth, you stop the preaching.
Right.
But if you just slightly disagree with this little thing, then here's what you don't do. Jump up and say, I'm going to challenge you on that one day, brother, and then sit back down. There's really nowhere to go with from there. I'm just kind of like...
okay, turn to...
First Corinthians chapter 4.
Yeah. The temptation would be, okay, come on up. But that's
the flesh.
Yeah,
and that's not always good. I don't think debate can be fun. The problem with debate is that you can be wrong but be a great debater.
Yeah, sure.
And you can win the debate, but still be wrong. So debate's not always the best.
True.
The righteous man studieth to answer. I think there's a place for debate. I think it can be a lot of fun.
But
the righteous studieth to answer. And yes, of course.
We have to remember that it's also a work of the flesh.
Right, exactly.
People there are, one of the prerequisites of church leadership, we'll just call it as that, is not to not be a brawler.
Right.
Sure.
And, no striker, as in I shouldn't reach over and punch Joe in the face right now, and I'm sure he would appreciate it. I would appreciate more not getting hit back, but...
Maybe around episode 6.
Right.
We'll see how it goes.
Right. That's not a striker, but he also needs to not be a brawler. That's somebody that fights all the time. So, even in what we're doing here with this podcast, it can go maybe ungodly direction. So we're definitely going to have to, especially seeing that you guys know me, I can't be serious for very long. I really, I'm one of those guys that really just wants to enjoy this life before that trumpet blasts.
Amen.
And that doesn't mean in a sinful way. I want to be able to smile. I want to be able to laugh. I don't want to fret and worry and fear. And so I guess I just take a slightly different look at things. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be moving into a series. It's kind of a series that will hit and we'll enter in, and then we'll exit, and we'll enter in, and we'll exit. It's kind of like a why I'm not a.
Yeah.
That's good. Why I'm not a Mormon.
Right.
Why I'm not a Catholic. Why I'm not a Protestant.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
Why I'm sometimes not a Baptist.
Now we just lost viewers.
Right. No, or gain some.
Yeah.
But for this series, it's really why I'm not a Calvinist.
Amen.
Or fatalist, as you mentioned, and we'll talk about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to end this episode for now. I know it just gave you a little taste, but let's be honest. We're about 12 minutes, 13 minutes, 14 minutes in, and you're already starting to lose interest. So we're going to end it here. We're going to pick back up with another episode number 2 of the Bible Believers podcast, where we will discuss a little bit of the history, where Calvinism came from, and let's see if we can't open up some dialogue about that. So we'll see you next time on the Bible Believers podcast.